Blaise Compaore was president of Burkina Faso for 27 years. To some, he was the only president they'd ever known. But there's now a dispute over who's in charge. First, the head of the army said he would take control.
People of Burkina Faso, the National Armed Forces announced the resignation of the president. I will assume responsibility for the government and will start immediately in order to return to constitutional life.
Then the Presidential Guard's Colonel Isaac Zida said he was now head of state.
Starting today, I assume the responsibilities of this transition. As head of the government, I will call on the international community and friends of Burkina Faso to support our people in this difficult time.
Compaore's resignation was welcomed by many, but it was his attempts to further extend his time in office that prompted mass protests on the streets of the capital. After days of violence, the president did agree not to seek another term in office, but said he would remain in power until next year.
I call on all parties to put the country's needs first. Only dialogue will prevail and lead us to peace. For my part, I remain open and available for transitional talks until I hand over power to a democratically elected president.
But opposition leaders wanted the president to resign immediately and called on their supporters to keep on protesting.
Mr. Blaise Compaore issued a statement in which he still considers himself the head of state. The opposition has said repeatedly here that prior to any discussion of political transition, it is pure and simple and unconditional that President Blaise Compaore must leave.
Tuesday marked the start of a civil disobedience campaign called by opposition parties. Thousands of people took to the streets. Demonstrators stormed Parliament and set it on fire. They were trying to stop the vote that would have allowed the president to run for office again. After days of violence, people in Burkina Faso hope the president's resignation will bring an end to the recent chaos and violence they've had to endure. Regan, Al Jazeera.